This is your conscience speaking. Stop playing small in 2025. It's not helping you. It won't help you. And you need to mind your P's and Q's this year. Be careful what you tell yourself about what you can and cannot do in 2025 when it comes to your marketing and your business. Okay, in all seriousness. You know I had to, though. I really want to talk to you about this idea of the P's and Q's of branding, marketing, and business in 2025, and how you can really either hold yourself back or really propel yourself forward in some pretty cool ways, depending on the P's and the Q's that you mind this year. So one of the main P's that I'm talking about is the word professionalism. Yes. So I hear a lot of people talk about, does that look professional enough? Do I look like I am serious enough for people to take me seriously? And my argument would be is that I don't want you to actually aim for professionalism. I want you to aim for personality and quirkiness and weird brilliance. Because, now stay with me here, is that if you can back up everything that you claim, if you have put in the hours, if you put in the tens and tens and tens and tens of hours and hundreds of hours of research and training and developing your skills and your professional development, then you can afford to go a bit weird and wacky so that you can really step up to your marketing in a way that engages with people and really shifts the impact that you have in your business and in your positioning. If you don't have all of that behind you, it's trickier. And sometimes we see that out in the world in examples like people who, promise one thing, but then they don't actually do all the things that they say they can do, and they just sound really good. And so we assume that if those people are doing it and it feels really icky when we come across those people, then we can't do any of that ourselves because we don't want to associate with that at all. And I get it. I totally get it. Look, I used to be a psychologist, former psychologist here. So I totally understand this perspective where you have to play a certain part in order to hold credibility. I get this more than anybody does. But at the end of the day, my clients, when I was a psychologist, didn't care about any of my credibility, any of my training, any of my masters, or any of my bachelor degrees, any of it. They didn't care about any of it unless I could really relate and connect to them and that I could actually communicate and tell stories in a way that made meaning and connection to them. And so the same goes for you in business. So you need to really mind your P's and Q's this year. Be careful of what you are telling yourself, what you can't and can do. And yes, you can be professional, but that doesn't mean that you have to be boring. That doesn't have to mean that you follow the trends that everybody else is following. In actual fact, and we've heard it many, many times before, this is an old adage, you zig when everyone's zagging. But in actual fact, in 2025, we have to do way more than zigging. We have to be well off the scale in terms of showing up with our personality and polarizing with our opinions and our stance on certain topics, and getting really curious about how we can tell stories in different ways so that people can really hear us. A lot of people are overwhelmed at the moment, me included at times, and sometimes I don't hear some of the messages that are coming out from people I follow or people that I watch online because there's too much competing. So my question is, how can you mind your P's and Q's this year in a way that you can really step things up in a way that actually makes you feel a little bit like you've got butterflies in your tummy when you do it. What could you be doing that shows your personality in a very different way? If you say that you are a disruptor, don't just say it. You need to show us. You need to tell stories with it. You need to really show your personality in it. You need to polarize with it. Your whole presence needs to hold that disruption if that's what you're about. Because if you don't do that, then really what happens is you default back to professionalism, and then everybody else is doing exactly the same, even those who aren't that professional. And then you're leaving it up to the people out there who are really good, either really good at communicating and are highly professional, and or those people who are really good at communicating but aren't that crash hot at delivering the product. And so what you're doing is you aren't actually benefiting your clients at all, because all you're doing is playing it safe. So mind your P's and Q's this year. Make sure that you can really step it up in a way where you feel the butterflies in your stomach, and then you also get to engage and connect with new people around you as well as the old people around you, and keep them motivated, keep them inspired. Okay, that's it from me. And that's it from me, your conscience.